And you can have the next witness step in, please. Please be seated. Members of the jury, we are now going to continue with the presentation of evidence. Ms. Zoe, call your next.
Past school year, what grade were you in?
Sophomore.
Okay. And Athena, what time does school get out each day?
2:00 p.m.
Okay. And back in October of last year, how do you normally get to school each day?
The inner city transit buses.
Okay. How do you normally get home after school?
The inner city transit buses as well.
And the IT bus stops, are there any bus stops around Timberline High School?
There are two. There's one directly in front and then across the street at the elementary school.
Okay. And Athena, do you know someone by the name of Isaiah Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you know Isaiah?
Just friend of a friend. He was kind of an acquaintance.
Okay. And are you friends with Isaiah yourself?
I would say so.
Okay. And what about Fatima Ali? Do you know someone by that name?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where do you know Fatima from?
We were kind of same, like acquaintance, friend of a friend, but I know her from Timberline High School. We went to school together.
You had school together?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you friends with Fatima?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. And want to bring your attention to October 18th of last year, and I'm going to ask you some questions about that day. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And Athena, where did you go after school was done for the day at around 2 p.m.?
I walked through the parking lot to the bus stop.
Okay. And you mentioned that you walked through the parking lot to the bus stop. What parking lot are you talking about?
The Timberline High School, like, parking lot that's right in front of the bus stop.
Okay. And is this parking lot, is it for students parking?
Yeah.
It's for students
Yes,
parking?
it's a student parking.
Okay. And what about parents? If they want to park there, can they park their vehicles there as well?
There's a separate area, like a separate pull-in for that on the other side. It's by the, like, other side of the building.
Okay.
So,
And when you got to the bus stop, and the bus stop that you're referring to, is it the one that's by the elementary school, or is it the one that's in front of
it's the one
Timberline?
that's in front of Timberline High School.
Just one moment, if you can wait until she gets the question out completely. Only one person can talk at a time. Thanks.
And Athena, when you got to the bus stop, was there anyone else already there?
Yes.
And who do you remember being there already?
Caleb, Noah.
And what about Fatima? Do you remember if she was already there?
They had came after I had got there.
Okay, and when you
Her
say
and
they,
Isaiah.
who are you referring to?
Her and Isaiah.
Okay. And when you, so you indicated you got to the bus stop, and then how long after, when you got to the bus stop, did Fatima and Isaiah get there?
I would say it was only like 1 or 2 minutes. It wasn't too long.
Okay. And when you first saw Fatima, do you remember what she was wearing?
She was in very baggy clothing. She had a beanie on and like a COVID-19 face mask, like one of the blue ones. Like she was trying to hide almost, and she had bags. She was holding 2 big bags of clothing and had a backpack on.
Okay. And you indicated that it appears she was trying to hide. You said that she was wearing a COVID mask. Were there a lot of students that were wearing masks that day?
She was the only person that I
Okay.
had seen in the entire day wearing one.
Okay. And after Fatima and Isaiah arrived, you testified that there were students at the bus stop. Did any adults show up to the bus stop at any point?
I know there was a male that had got out of his car while the incident was going on, and then the bus driver had got out.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't think there was any other adults out there.
Okay, so you talked about when the incident was going on. I'm gonna
Oh,
ask
yeah,
you
beforehand.
Yes,
Yeah.
before the incident. After Fatima and Isaiah got to the bus stop, did any adults show up?
Oh, her father had showed up, I want to say like 2 to 5 minutes after they had showed up.
Okay, and you indicated Fatima's father showed up prior to on October 18th. Did you know the man that showed up was her father?
Yeah, I'd seen them, like him dropping her off at school or like things like that, just them walking together, so I kind of just assumed
Okay.
that was her dad.
Okay. And after the man showed up, what? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay. And after Fatima's father showed up, what did he do after he showed up?
They got into, well, it wasn't really a verbal argument, but it wasn't in English, so he was ushering her with his hand to like come towards the car that he had got out of or wherever they were at, and she was just like shaking her head, wasn't really talking, being very quiet, standing behind Isaiah for protection. Isaiah was just kind of trying to protect her as much as possible, and they were both being quite silent and very like soft-spoken, very
Okay.
shy.
And while that was, so when Fatima's dad was talking to her, at that point, did Isaiah do anything?
Isaiah was just getting in between both of them, trying to like make sure that nothing physical was going on or gonna happen.
Okay.
So
And when Isaiah did that, what, if anything, did Fatima's father do in response?
he would back up occasionally at first, and then he kind of got more upset and was just like pushing it almost, like not backing up anymore or trying to like give her space anymore. It was just kind of like very blunt.
Okay. And then at some point, did Fatima's father do anything to Isaiah?
The bus had pulled up, and she turned away from her father for a second, and her father went to grab her, and Isaiah had grabbed onto his arm to try and pull his arm off or like stop him from touching her in some way, and when he did that, he punched Isaiah. Fatima's father had punched Isaiah, and he fell onto the floor.
Okay. And then after Fatima's father punched Isaiah, you indicated he fell onto the floor. Who's he?
Oh, sorry, Isaiah had fell
Okay.
onto the floor.
And after Fatima's father punched Isaiah, what did Fatima's father do after that?
Turned to Fatima because she had turned around at this point to see what was going on, and kind of like latched onto her neck and just tackled her to the floor,
Okay.
in the dirt
Okay.
area instead of the cement area where everyone was at first, so they completely moved into the dirt.
Okay. And you indicated that he sort of grabbed Fatima. How did you see how he grabbed her?
By her neck, like
Okay.
both hands.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Both hands around her neck.
Okay. And when they, you indicated Fatima and her father at some point ended up on the dirt ground. When they ended up on the ground, where were her father's hands or arms?
Either on her neck or holding her down onto the floor.
Okay.
But once we were looking at her face, she was not able to breathe, so.
Okay. Let me ask you a different question. You indicated that when they first ended up on the ground, how far away from them were you? Do you remember?
Maybe like 5 to 10 feet. We were all just talking and it was like so sudden, and then everyone had swarmed and kind of tried to help whatever was going on.
Okay. And then you indicated that you saw that she couldn't breathe. What did you see that made you think she couldn't breathe?
She was grabbing at her dad's hands, like at her neck, and then she was like, her eyes were rolling back and she was getting a little pale, like it looked like she was not even barely going to be conscious for any longer. Like it was very scary.
Okay. And then you indicated that she was grabbing, sort of grabbing at her dad's hands around her neck. Where were her dad's hands or arms at that point?
Just on her throat. His hands were both on her neck.
Okay. And then you indicated that at some point the other students got involved. Do you remember who got involved?
Caleb, Zayla.
And when the other students got involved, what were they doing?
They were kicking at his head or body and pulling on his jacket to try and flip him over or pull him off of her.
Okay. And when the students were doing that, were they successful in getting Fatima's father away from her neck?
I don't believe so.
Okay. And at some point, you testified earlier when I asked you if adults showed up, you mentioned a bus driver, and then
Yes.
you also indicated a man from a truck. Between the bus driver and the man from the truck, do you remember who showed up first?
I don't.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't.
Okay, that's okay. And when the bus driver was there, do you remember what the bus driver was doing?
I don't remember the bus driver really being involved in the physical aspect of it. I think he was just kind of like yelling, telling everybody to stop and just disperse and kind of move away. But
Okay, let me ask you a different question then. You don't remember the bus driver doing much. What about the man from the truck? Do you remember what he did?
so the man from the truck had got out, and I'm not sure if we had gotten him off of Fatima by the time he got over there and just detained him on the floor, or if he had pulled him off and then detained him on the floor. But the man did detain Fatima's father onto the floor until the police had got there.
Okay. And then you indicated that at some point the police got there. Did you talk to any of the police officers?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And then, so Athena, you talked about Fatima's father showing up, and then the bus driver showing up, and then the male from a truck showing up. Do you remember if any adult females showed up at some point?
Fatima's mother showed up.
Okay. And had you ever seen Fatima's mother prior to that day?
I don't believe I have.
Okay. And how did you know it was her mother then?
They were just all speaking the same language, and she was yelling about how her husband was on the floor, so I just had assumed that that was Fatima's mom because that only made sense to me.
Okay. And when Fatima's mom showed up, when you first saw her at the scene, do you remember what you were doing yourself?
I think I was just talking to my friends, waiting for the bus.
Okay. And then at some point when Fatima's mother showed up, what did she do?
She came from, because we were trying to pick her up off of the floor to get her up. She came from behind and tried to grab her and ended up putting her arms underneath Fatima's neck and like tried to pull her up. And we kept shouting about how she couldn't breathe and like she had just been able to regain like everything, and it was, yeah.
Okay. So you indicated that when Fatima's mother grabbed Fatima from under, had her arms wrapped around underneath Fatima's neck, you were sort of making motions with your arm. What were you trying to demonstrate?
When I was picking her up by her armpits, because she could not like stand up on her own at all. She had no like willpower, energy in her body. And so I had picked her up from both of her arms like this and tried to drag her upwards and try and get her to at least sit up or away from everyone.
Okay, and you were demonstrating with your arms, sort of just moving both of your arms in an upward motion?
Yeah, just trying to pull her like this way while her arms were on my arms.
And when you were doing that, what was Fatima's mother doing?
She had came up behind both of us and tried to grab her in some sort of way, and she was crying and yelling and just hysterical almost. It was
okay. And then at some point when you indicated she was grabbing her in some way, did you see how her mom was grabbing her?
She was grabbing at her by like her shoulders, kind of everywhere, just trying to get like a grip on her so that she could get her out of my arms.
Okay.
But it was just like overly aggressive. It wasn't helping the situation at all.
Okay. And you indicated that at one point while Fatima's mother was grabbing her, you indicated that you and other students were sort of shouting like she can't breathe.
Yeah.
What did you see her mom do that caused you to start shouting she can't breathe?
Well, she was just like flailing her around, and like she had put her arms where her neck was, and that was really like scary for all of us because she had just been able to like breathe. So I was like, I don't know how good she's doing. Please like leave her throat alone at least, like let her grab her by something else. But she wasn't like holding her like that for too long. She had like let go and tried to grab onto her by her shoulders or by any means of her body.
Okay. And then at some point did you see, were you or other people or Fatima on her own able to sort of remove Fatima from sort of that scene?
So Fatima and Isaiah, because Isaiah had got up off the floor by now, and Fatima and Isaiah got up. I don't know how she got the energy to get up, but she had got up. Isaiah walked her to the front of the school through the parking lot, and her mom and her sister were right behind them.
Okay. And Athena, have you seen a video of this incident?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Got our permission to publish Exhibit 34.
You may. When it's playing, will you indicate which version?
Yes, Your Honor, and I am publishing the road version of the bus video.
And starting at what time?
2:12:52. Permission to publish?
You may.
Thank you. Athena, I am gonna, I'm showing you with this red dot on the TV screen, someone that is on the middle, right-hand portion of this, image, that's wearing sort of the green color pants. Do you, recognize that person?
Yes, ma'am, that's me.
Okay. And what was happening at this point?
Fatima's dad had grabbed onto her after he punched Isaiah, and they fell onto the floor, and the kids started trying to get him off of Fatima.
And where were you going, at this point?
I was going to maybe help or assess the situation if they needed help. You know, I didn't know really what was going on in the first place. Nobody really did, so just going over there to try and figure out what was going on and help her as much as possible.
Okay. And I'm starting the video again at 2:13:31. And I'm stopping the video at 2:14:12. And Athena, what was happening at this point?
The bus driver had gotten off the bus to come see what was going on and try to help the situation, and then the guy got out of his truck to detain the father.
Okay, and what were you doing at this point?
I was trying to pull the father off and trying to get Fatima from underneath him.
Okay. Starting the video again. And I'm stopping at 2:14:35. And Athena, we see, I'm using the red dot, the person wearing the green pants in the right-hand lower, right quadrant of this, screen. The person wearing the green pants, is that still you?
Yes, ma'am.
And what were you doing by this point?
The man had got the father detained, so we all just took a step back, just trying to give them some space to be able to get everything dealt with and get him detained. And
Okay, and you testified earlier that at some point you had, sort of tried to pull Fatima up and stuff.
Mhm.
Had you already done that by this point?
Yeah, I was, when everything was already going on and they were kicking at him, that's when we had tried to pull her up, and then I think she had just been limp on the floor for a while, and we had tried to grab her up later in the video.
Okay. Stopping the video at 2:14:35. No further questions at this time. Thank you, Athena.
Thank you. Mr. Kading, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Athena, I just want to clarify a couple of things. You were talking about when Fatima's father came
Yes.
to the scene, right? And you said they were having a conversation. And you reported that nothing got physical until the bus arrived. Is
Yes,
that right?
sir.
Okay. And how far away from everyone were you at that point, from Isaiah and Fatima and the father?
The bus stop isn't too big, so I'd say like maximum 20 feet.
Okay, and were you watching what was going on?
Yeah, well, I was like not fully tuned into it, but I would look over because it was
Okay.
obnoxious. It was,
And then, so when the bus came, you saw her father reach and grab her shoulder?
yes.
Okay, and at that point, is that when Isaiah got
Yes, sir.
involved? And what
Yes,
did
sir.
Isaiah do?
He had tried to grab. No, you're not gonna grab her, basically.
Okay. And then, so at that point, the video started, the bus was coming.
Yes, sir.
That's right then, right?
Mhm.
So the punch then that you're talking about from the father was that punch that we saw?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And then, just to clarify too, the man, we're jumping ahead now in time. When the man came out of the truck and came across the street, when he got to the group of people, how long was it from that point until father let go of Fatima?
It was a few seconds. It wasn't.
Pretty quickly?
Yeah, he
Okay.
wasn't trying any longer after that.
Okay, so there was no further struggle from the father? at that
Right.
point. Okay. Now, at that point, did you notice, had Fatima's mother shown up yet?
Not at that point. I don't think so.
Okay, so she wasn't actually there then
Mm-mm.
when the whole incident itself was going on?
No, she just came to the aftermath of what was going on and saw everyone detained and on the floor. And
All right. And did you see another woman that was
Yes.
there? Okay, and that, do you know her?
I've seen Fatima running or walking around with her at school, so I was just assuming it was her sister.
Okay, all right, so you assume that the other one was the sister. And you saw her, did you see her filming? Or not, I don't know, we don't use film anymore. Did you see her with a phone?
Recording.
Yes.
I can't say I remember that. No.
Okay. We heard on the video, and I don't want to play it all over again, but we
I
heard
heard-
someone saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Was that her sister yelling at that point?
I don't want to say yes and not be
Okay.
100% about that, but
Okay, but it could have been.
yes,
Okay.
that would have been the only person yelling.
And then her sister, she came with the mother? Or did she
Yes,
get there
sir.
later?
She came with the mother.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. And so, but we've established at that point, when they both arrived, Fatima had already been let go. And
Right, she was just kind of limp on the floor, and then the father was detained at
Okay,
that
and
point.
so Fatima then was moved after that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Yes.
Mr. Larry, cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. How's your summer going?
Oh, it's going.
Are you working?
It's long. It's hot.
Are you working?
Oh no, I can't do all that. I'm lazy.
So, you like summer better?
I do.
Or
Yeah.
Summer or school?
Oh no, summer for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to worry there for a second. So I'm going to play the video and just have a couple follow-up questions, and it should be relatively quick, okay? So. Rely on the expertise of Ms. Snow.
And Mr. Larry, are you requesting permission to publish 34?
I'm on my way, yes, please, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. You may.
Thank you.
And which view will you be publishing?
The road, the front one.
Thank
that,
you.
We were just wanting. Okay, so we just watched up to 2:14:35, so I'm gonna go back or start from there if I can get this to work. Okay, so I have it paused at 2:14:35, and so we can see the individual in the safety vest. That's the bus driver. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And we can see a woman standing by the truck. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
And you are there in the green green pants, correct?
Correct.
And dark hoodie with your hood up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. and an individual in a brown kind of sweatsuit with white shoes. Do you know who that is?
That's Jake.
And so you kind of have your hands on your hips,
Mm-hmm.
and at this point, the situation has kind of been contained. Is that fair?
I would say so, yes.
Okay. All right, so now I'm going to hit play, and we're just going to talk a little bit more. Okay, so,
Can you indicate the time you paused it, please?
yes, Your Honor. Sorry about that. 2:14:41. Now, behind the bus driver, from our perspective, we can see a woman with a tan backpack. Do you know who that is?
That's Zayla.
She appeared to be holding Isaiah Williams.
Yes, sir.
And do you remember that?
I don't, honestly.
But you were able to see that?
Yes, I can see that now.
Okay. Okay, so pausing at 2:14:51, we see the bus driver kind of leave the scene, correct?
Mhm.
And you are walking around, and we can kind of see the passerby detaining
Yes,
the dad, correct?
correct.
And we can kind of see his head on, what appears to be his head on the ground, correct?
Correct.
And not really
Yeah.
struggling or moving? Okay. And then we see an individual with a green hat. Is that another passerby? Do you know who that is? If you don't, that's fine.
Where at?
So kind of center to the right. So if I see you in the green pants, right?
Right.
We then see a woman in a white top. Do you know
Right.
who that is?
Oh, the.
All right, so we're at 2:14:51, hitting play. Okay, so now, stopping at 2:15:05, you see you still there, standing in roughly the same place, correct?
Yes, sir.
And directly to the right of you, can you see who that is?
In the blue jacket.
Nope,
Or-
right behind. Do you see?
Oh, I don't. I can't tell who that is. No.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind it a little bit.
Okay.
And let me know if you are able to see Fatima's sister or not.
Okay.
So we're at 2:15:05, and I'm gonna go back 10 seconds or so. All right, so 2:14:55, hitting play. And if you see her, just tell me and I'll pause it, okay?
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. That is her sister.
Okay, and so now I have paused it again at 2:15:07. And so you can see her sister kind of walking around. and
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue to play.
Okay.
And we're now at 2:15:21 where I have paused. And does it appear that Fatima has now gotten up at this point?
I can't tell if they're dragging her or if she's gotten up, but
Okay. When you say they, who's dragging her?
her mother and her sister,
Okay.
I'm guessing. From
I don't want you to guess.
Sorry, I can't see it,
Okay,
so
I'm gonna rewind again. We'll go back
Okay.
to 2:15:15.
Yes, that was her sister. Sorry.
I'm gonna go 2:15, 14, and hit play. Okay. So now we're watching. All right, so now pausing at 2:15:34, and it's that point when her and Isaiah then start going to the school. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the time frame where you're talking about her holding her daughter is,
Yeah, I'm confused because I remembered it like she had came up, her and her daughter had came up to us, like the entire group after Fatima was on the floor, and she had came up yelling, screaming, and trying to grab at her. So,
and do you see that in there?
I only saw the sister.
Okay.
So,
And regardless, it was a relatively short period of time from the time when Dad is detained to when she's going to the school with Isaiah. Is that correct?
yes, that is correct.
Okay. So it wasn't on the ground for very long. Well, let me correct. Once she is released from Dad,
Yeah.
she is not on the ground for very long. Is that fair?
I wouldn't, I don't know, for being on the floor after you just got strangled by your father, I feel like that was a long time.
And I'm, fair enough.
Personally, I just think
Personally,
she was down there for a minute. We were all staring there
Okay.
for a little minute.
But factually, we didn't just watch like 5 minutes of video. Is that's the point I'm making?
Yeah, okay, I guess not.
Okay. I'm not saying it wasn't traumatic or there
No,
wasn't a
I
lot
understand.
going
No,
on.
I understand that.
Okay, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
characterize kind of how quick things were. Is that fair?
Yeah, now that I'm looking at the timing, it didn't feel as long as it really was. Like it didn't.
It felt
It
longer?
felt longer, yes, sir. It felt
Alright.
longer than it really was.
Appreciate it being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Zoe, redirect.
You want this down or I'll let you? Thank you.
Athena, Mr. Leary just asked you about when watching the video, the passage of time. Do you remember him just asking you about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Despite the fact it wasn't 5 or 10 minutes, you testified earlier about your observations of Fatima's appearance when she was on the ground.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that still your testimony, that
Yes.
that was her appearance?
Yes.
Okay. And you also indicated that you testified earlier about when, I believe you indicated you haven't met Fatima's mother prior to that day, but you sort of put 2 and 2 together when you heard her say, screaming, my husband, my husband.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the same person that was screaming that, you indicated that you saw somebody, when you were trying to pull Fatima up, you saw somebody sort of with their arms underneath her neck. Was the person that had their arms underneath her neck the same person that was screaming, my husband, my husband?
I'm not sure anymore.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mr. Kading, any further cross-examination?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Larry? All right. I may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Kading?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Larry? You are excused. You may step down. You're free to go or stay in the courtroom however you so desire. Yes. And while we are waiting for the witness, the jury is free to stand if you would so desire. Please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be true and correct?
Yes, I do.
Will you please come forward and be seated? And I could have the jury be seated, please. Ms. Zoe, you may inquire when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, I'm well, thank you.
Please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
My name is Julie Mullen, and my last name is spelled Mullen.
Are you currently employed?
Yes, I am.
How are you employed?
I'm currently employed as a Lacey police officer.
How long have you been employed with the Lacey Police Department?
I've been an officer for 21 years.
Okay. Is that all with Lacey?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you become a law enforcement officer?
I became a law enforcement officer. I went to the academy starting in 2003. I attended the Washington State Police Corps Academy that was held in Burien, Washington, where I had about 1,400 hours of training to be an officer. Upon my graduation from that academy, which was in February 2004, I was then hired by the City of Lacey as an officer.
Okay. What is your education background?
I attended Central Washington University, and I have 2 bachelor's degrees.
Okay. And since the academy, and being employed with the Lacey Police Department, have you received any additional or specialized training?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and what are some of those training?
Initially, as an officer, I went to interview and interrogation school. I also became a forensic interviewer for child interviews. I went to several domestic violence classes, strangulation classes, digital photography classes as a patrol officer.
Okay. And what is your current assignment at the Lacey Police Department?
My current assignment is a patrol officer.
And what are some of your responsibilities as a patrol officer?
As a patrol officer, I respond to 911 calls. I respond to traffic collisions, anything that requires a police response, as well as welfare checks for people that are walking on the road or found in parking lots. Anything that would need a law enforcement to respond.
Okay. And what was your assignment back in October of 2024?
In October of 2024, I was doing my detective position. I was a detective with the City of Lacey Police Department.
Okay. And how long were you a detective with the Lacey Police Department?
I applied for detectives out of patrol in 2018, and I was selected as a detective in December of 2018. I started my 6-year rotation in detectives in January of 2019, and that 6 years ended in December of 2024.
Okay. And it's after your detective's position, your rotation ended, did you rotate back to being a patrol officer?
Correct. When my 6 years was up, I rotated back to patrol.
Okay. And what were your, when you were a detective, what were some of your responsibilities?
So we only have general detectives at the City of Lacey. However, most of my cases would have been special victims cases, child abuse, sexual assault cases. But I was also the lead investigator on several homicide cases, as well as frauds, thefts, burglaries, and anything that was assigned to me during that time frame.
Okay. And Officer Mullen, were you the initial responding officer in this case?
No, I was not.
And do you know who was the initial responding officer?
Officer Sopal Heng was the initial responding officer.
Okay. And were you the main primary investigating officer in this case?
No, I was not.
Okay. And do you know who was?
Officer Alicia Howard was the main investigating officer for this.
Okay. And how did you first become involved in this case?
The event happened on October 18th. I wasn't working that day, but we had talked about the case. It was pretty significant for the department, so I became aware of it then. And then on October 24th, my sergeant, Detective Knight, requested that I assist Officer Howard with some aspects of the investigation. What was requested of me on that day was to get the medical records for Fatima, and then also schedule her for a forensic interview.
Okay. You indicated that Well, let me ask you this. You were a detective in October 2024. Are there times where, even though a detective is involved in a case, a officer who is not a detective may in fact be the main primary officer?
Yes.
Okay, and in this case, do you know back in October 2024 what position Officer Howard had?
Yes, Officer Howard was the school resource officer for Timberline High School, and the event happened at Timberline High School. And that's why she followed up with the event and why she became the main primary investigating officer.
Okay. And you indicated that when you were initially asked to follow up to assist Officer Howard with this case, you there was a request for you to obtain Fatima's medical records. Did you in fact do that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And then after obtaining Fatima's medical records, did you reach out to any outside agencies for assistance?
Yes, I did.
And which agency did you reach out to?
I reached out to Monarch, the forensic interviewer, Sue Villa, and so I reached out to her and I explained the situation and why we would like a forensic interview done, and she helped me schedule the interview for later that day.
Okay, and what is a forensic interview?
Forensic interview is a fact-finding interview that's mainly done with children or adults that have special needs. And so it's a fact-finding interview that's done by a specially trained interviewer. The interviewer sits down with the child, we'll just say child. It is held at a kind of a neutral location. She's not in uniform. It's not held at the police department normally. Our agency contracts with Monarch, and Monarch is, they also do counseling there. They do exams there. And so the interview itself would be a fact-finding interview that the interviewer asks the child open-ended questions and doesn't try to do any leading questions. The child leads, and it also allows for breaks to be taken for the child if the child gets overwhelmed. And it's supposed to be an interview that causes less or the least amount of trauma possible and get as much information from the child as possible during that time.
Okay, and do you know whether a forensic interview was done in this case with Fatima?
Yes.
And did you, as part of your involvement in this case, did you attend the forensic interview?
I did not attend the forensic interview. I scheduled it. Officer Howard attended the forensic interview.
Okay, and after the forensic interview was conducted, did you have a chance to review the forensic interview?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Besides speaking with Sue Villa to ask Ms. Villa to set up the forensic interview and conduct the forensic interview, did you speak to anyone else that was associated with this case that is not law enforcement or medical professionals?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and who did you speak with?
Had a lot of contact with Sebastian Lyon with Child Protective Services.
And besides CPS, did you speak to any of the students or their parents?
I did speak to one student and his parents.
Okay, and which student did you speak with? You indicated you spoke with Isaiah, and where was that? Did you interview him?
I did, yes.
Okay, and where was that interview conducted?
At the Lacey Police Department.
Okay, and without telling the jury what Isaiah said to you, what did you talk to Isaiah about?
I talked to Isaiah about his injuries that he sustained that day. On November 4th, I actually spoke to his mom, Miss Drake, and she was concerned that all of his injuries...
I'm going to stop you for a moment. I'm not asking you about what anybody said, just what did you talk to Isaiah personally about?
I talked to him about his relationship with Fatima and then also with the injuries that he sustained.
Okay. And then did you also have a chance to speak with Isaiah's mother?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what about his father?
I did, yes.
Okay. No further questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kading, cross-examination.
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Larry. May this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Okay.
Mr. Leary? You are excused. You may step down. You're free to go. Thank you.
That's a dude.